Welcome back to the channel. My name's Tom, and today I'm at the 2023 Spring Power-Up at the Connecticut Antique Machinery Association in Kent, Connecticut. This show is held every spring, and in the fall they have a fall festival, which is, as far as I'm aware, very similar to the Spring Power-Up. So if you end up liking this video and you want me to do a video on the upcoming fall festival as well, please let me know in the comments. Now, on to the show. I have to be honest with you, I only have a basic understanding of most of the antique machinery that they have on display here, but luckily some of them are labeled. So on the right there is a 1920 Hercules 7 horsepower Model E, and on the left is a 1916 Kansas City Faultless 2 horsepower. However, most of this stuff here is not labeled, so I'm really not sure what most of it is. Now, I do know that this was made by International Harvester. I would guess it's from the teens or 20s, but I'm not entirely sure about that. And obviously it's some sort of pumping mechanism, as you can see with the water back there. And don't forget, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. Thanks. So they're using this one to grind corn, but obviously you could use it for pretty much anything. Just have it turn a belt and it could power pretty much anything you could imagine. According to the label, this one was made by Eau Claire Machine Works, and it's 1.5 horsepower. From what I've been told, they do log splitting or log cutting demonstrations in that building there. They weren't doing them while I was at this show, but hopefully they'll do them at the Fall Festival. In my opinion, this machine here was probably the star of the show. It was really fascinating to look at, mainly because of how dangerous it is. As you can see, they're using this belt to spin some enormous circular saw blades. And in a second here, they actually did cut some wood with it, and the wood shavings were flying pretty much straight at the audience, which I was one of, so probably not the safest thing to be standing directly in front of. But I figured it would make some good video, so I stood in front of it anyways. No, accommodate my back, I'll have luggage here. Here's another machine that would have been used for cutting logs, and I would think this one would be a lot slower than that one we looked at with the circular blades. Now we're moving into what they call the Industrial Hall. This is one of the museum's permanent exhibits, and according to the sign here, this is where they have a collection of operable steam engines, machinery, and technology from the golden era of the Industrial Revolution and our nation's development. Basically, it's a lot of steam engines. They have a few models of steamboats here, which would be an example of what some of these steam engines would have been used in. And I know I've said it before in my flea market videos, but I really want to get one of these scale ship models someday. I find them so fascinating. According to the sign, this is a cross-compound steam engine manufactured by Laidlaw, Dunn & Gordon in Cincinnati, Ohio in 1910. And it was used to pump water for fire protection systems and elevators. This is the green steam engine manufactured by Pacific Iron Works in Bridgeport, Connecticut around 1904. And it was used at the Tiffany and Pickett Sash and Door Mill in Winsted, Connecticut up until the 1960s, believe it or not. This is the Skinner Universal Uniflow steam engine manufactured by Skinner Engine Company in 1939, and it's regarded as the ultimate in reciprocating steam engine design. This one was used at the state of Connecticut's Veterans Hospital in Rocky Hill to supply electrical power. It was last operated in 1975, but it was kept on standby until 1994.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a little stuff dressed down. Don't get that. On that one, I'm not sure.
This is a steam engine and DC generator manufactured by GE back around 1910. And this one was used to power the overhead crane in a powerhouse at the Scoville Manufacturing Company in Waterbury, Connecticut. And it was used up until 1970. And here we have a scale model of the number 1 unit of the Hudson Generating Station in Jersey City, New Jersey. I think this is pretty cool. This is the Hubbard steam cycle, which was hand-built by Arthur Budd Hubbard between 1969 and 1973 in Monroe, Connecticut. It's powered by a 2-cylinder, single-acting 6 horsepower, yes, 6 horsepower, 100cc steam engine. Don't think it's very practical, but it's definitely cool. Here we have the C.H. Brown horizontal stationary steam engine, which was built in 1875. It puts out 150 horsepower and was used by Libby Mills in Gorham, New Hampshire for timber harvesting between 1875 and 1946.
Actually run on steam. Yeah.
What exactly is powering it? Alcohol, water, and flame.
Now this is really cool. This is a model train that doesn't run on electricity. It actually runs on steam, which is the first model train I've ever seen that runs on steam.
Yeah, quite a few of them.
This is another one of the museum's permanent exhibits, and it shows various equipment that would have been used in mining operations. And here we have an IMCO scoop tram that was built sometime in the 1950s.
You know, Nate, it is. It's like the one on Dirty Jobs. Go and look at the rocks.
They even have a blacksmith. This museum is really impressive, and I would highly recommend, if you're ever in the area, definitely come on out and take a look at it, even if it's not during the Spring Power Up or the Fall Festival.
Yeah.
It smells like those snakes used to light up,
Right.
and they would expand. The white building on the left here is the Cream Hill Agricultural School. According to Wikipedia, it was founded in 1845 in Cornwall, Connecticut, and it's believed to be the first school in the U.S. devoted to agriculture. It was actually disassembled and moved to this location in 1994.
House open? Anybody in there? Yeah, we'll go through the tractor home.
This is a McCormick Deering tractor. It didn't have a date on it, but I would guess it's probably from the 20s or 30s, most likely. Here's another one of the museum's permanent displays. This is the Diebold Agricultural Hall. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah.
Here's a couple antique Caterpillar tractors. The one on the left is a Model 28 from 1934. I'm not sure what the one on the right is though, as it didn't have a sign on it. But it looks like it might be a little bit newer.
Yeah, that's just like a guitar.
And this one is an International Titan from 1920. This one almost looks homemade in comparison to the Caterpillar ones. This is a McCormick Deering Farmall, and it looks like it's a Model F30. However, this sign here says it's a 1941 Ford 9N, so that's a little bit confusing to me because it very clearly says McCormick Deering Farmall. So I don't know if that sign's in error or what. If anybody knows what that's all about, let me know in the comments. There's a few McCormick Deering Farmall Cubs. And those look a little bit newer. Maybe from the 40s or 50s. So I actually think that sign that was on the McCormick Deering Farmall F30 was supposed to go with this tractor because this is a Ford and it looks a lot like the one in the photo on that sign. So if that's correct, then that would be a 1941 Ford 9N. This is an Ingersoll Rand portable compressor, model K105, built in 1936. And this would have been used to supply compressed air for roadwork, mining, and construction jobs. So it would power like drills and hammers, that type of thing. I didn't see a sign on this, but this is clearly a steamroller. And it looks pretty old, so I would guess this is probably from the teens or the 20s. Here we have a 1915 Avery undermount twin-cylinder steam traction engine. Based on its appearance, to me, this is very clearly a highly modified steam locomotive engine.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Hey Bob.
Hold up.
Here a second. This kid just bought this muffler. He wants to see what it sounds like. Just bring it to the. Let's try it on the H. It's the exact same size. Alright. Just so you hear what it sounds like with this. Okay? Yeah. I'll start with this muffler. Okay. So you hear it sound like. Then you go with that one. And I'm actually curious too now. So we're gonna do a comparison.
Hello. Hi. How are you? Yes, camera.
Yeah, it wouldn't work on
Good dog.
Yeah, we're looking around.
This is clearly the John Deere section, and here we have a 1948 John Deere Model D. And then in the back there's a 1937 Model B. And this is a 1946 Model H. And this is a 1942 Model LA. Now let's take a walk around the Diebold Agricultural Hall, and they've got a lot of great stuff out here, which seems to be like, I don't want to say their junk section, but it's clearly the section where they have stuff they really need to restore. And I believe this is an old steam shovel. Probably from the 20s or 30s, I would guess.
Yeah, they've been using, I think just to pass the time, they've dug this all out. This was not cleared out last year.
Did they use that?
Yeah. I think they did. I know, I like the color. That's right, you did. Stationary motor. Yeah, watch it. You got some gutter problems. I saw the sign inside to show a leak somewhere. Oh, there's sunlight. Sort of crop processing. That could be a hay baler back there, or a combine.
What's that?
Same idea. Got little kicks to it.
Is this a hay bale?
I really don't know. I'm not 100% sure. Got something to do with something.
Look at Mom. Look at that.
If you're walking, like,
That's just different.
let's see what you got up front here.
This part.
This construction equipment is also part of their permanent collection, and I think I counted a total of 4 steam shovels, which I think is pretty cool. I really like steam shovels for some reason. I think it's probably because I used to watch a lot of cartoons from the 30s and 40s which would have steam shovels in them. And of course, by the time I was born, there pretty much weren't any steam shovels in operation. And I've actually never seen one in use before. I believe these tractors here are part of the permanent collection at the museum, but I'm not entirely sure about that. So if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Most of these did not have signs on them, so I'm not sure exactly what they are, but this one's obviously a Ford, and it looks a lot like the one that was in the barn, so I would guess this would be early 40s. And then this one just says John Deere General Purpose. This looks old, probably 30s or 40s, I would guess. Here's another McCormick Deering Farmall Cub, a lot like the one in the barn.
I would stand back when they do. Large, circular saw blade.
This is a Twin City tractor. And this one looks older to me just because of the lack of rubber tires, so I'm thinking maybe 1920s. And luckily this one has a sign on it. This is a 1940 Caterpillar D6. And this is a 1945 Caterpillar D4. And this looks like a military model. Either that or somebody just painted it to look military, but I'm guessing this was specially done just for the Army. This one also appears to be an Army model. This is a 1938 Caterpillar D2.
Yeah. 1947.
And then this one is a 1947 Caterpillar D2.
That's a later model. I don't know.
These ones don't have any signs on them, so I'm not sure what these are, other than the green ones, of course, are John Deere. I'm guessing the red one might be a McCormick Deering, just based on the color. And I'm guessing that might be a John Deere just because it's green. Yeah, and there's another McCormick Deering. And then this one is an Oliver, which I've never heard of before. There's another Caterpillar. And this is a Huber, another one I've never heard of before. I'm sure all you tractor aficionados out there have heard of these all before, but most of them are new to me. And then here we have a Ford 601 Workmaster. They also had one vendor actually selling some old riding lawnmowers. This is a Boland's 1225, which I think is from the late 60s. So much newer than the others, but still pretty old. And on the trailer there's an old Ford riding lawnmower, which I didn't know Ford made riding lawnmowers. I would guess that's also probably from the late 60s, early 70s. I'm not sure what this little yellow one is on the end here. It didn't have a name on it, and I've never seen one that looks like that before. So if anybody knows what that is, let me know in the comments. He's also got two Cub Cadets. He has a 127 and a 107, which both seem to be from the late 60s, early 70s, like 69 to 71. And then there's a Ford 120, which I believe is early 70s. All right, so now it's time to head over to the train. They actually do have a train ride here. And initially we thought we were going to go on a steam train, but it looks like the steam train here is actually not working. They were having some mechanical problems. So we eventually ended up using a diesel train, which was still fun, but as you'll see, I ran into some problems with the diesel train specifically.
It looks, maybe they're working on it, just getting it tuned up, greased up, if we hear it. Yeah, that's the real impressive stuff. Blown away.
Looks like it's going faster this time.
Sure. Where do you want to sit? Turn it back.
Thanks very much, Steve. Have a good afternoon.
Back? Me too. Get on up, bud. This side? Okay.
No, the other side.
This side? All right.
Oh.
Oh, Tommy took it. Sit next to Tommy.
You've all heard it before. There's the house rule. Stay seated when the car is in motion. If you want to, when you stop, you want to get up and take a look around, that's okay. Don't play with the crank on the end of the car. That's the handbrake. And we don't want to set that.
All right, so now let's go for a quick little train ride. It goes maybe, I don't know, a quarter of a mile down the tracks here, so not too far. And it was on the way back that I ran into some issues.
Yeah. Oh, there's all the cows up there in the corner. Just watching.
Here's the number 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, see, these are all new tracks they're putting in here, Dave. Cut it out. Does it squeak the brakes and all that? Crazy? You gotta wait. This is what Dave's have to get out of the way. That's it. Alright, baby, gotta get out of question. Way to go, baby. It's the first time you listen to me.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Connecticut Antique Machinery Association Spring Power Up. How many of you are joining us for the first time? All right, those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. For the rest of you, welcome back. The train you're riding on now is a Plymouth diesel locomotive built in 1924. This was actually when diesel locomotives were in their very infancy stages. They weren't even used for passenger service at the time. This one actually ran in upstate New York for the Hutton Brick Works. This isn't even considered diesel electric. This is just a straight diesel. At the time, steam locomotives were being used. In fact, the steam locomotive that'll be running in another hour or so was built a year after this engine. So, with diesel engines being in their experimental stages, they were hesitant to run them hauling passengers at that point, figuring if anything happens to freight or cargo, especially in an industrial park, not a big deal. Anything happens to passengers, whole different ballgame. This engine ran in upstate New York, the Hutton Brick Works in the late 1970s and was sent here. And now she spends her retirement hauling passengers every now and again. Steam locomotive, which will be out later, ran in Hawaii until Pearl Harbor Day and didn't start hauling passengers here until 2000. But for the first time ever, she hauls passenger service and is the only steam locomotive in the country where we allow passengers to ride on board the locomotive. I run steam elsewhere and we don't allow that, so full disclosure. Anybody have any questions, any comments before we get out of here?
No?
Let me guess, the sun is beating down on you and you want to get this show on the road. Well, you don't have to tell me twice. So all kidding aside, thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again and have a great afternoon.
Thanks.
Question about the transmission, but oh yeah, I was gonna give that to you.
Old roller coaster. So at this point is when I ran into some trouble. I didn't know anything was wrong, but apparently what was happening was I was in just the right spot that the exhaust from the diesel engine here was landing on me. So by the end of this trip, I was completely covered in diesel soot. Nobody else got it, just me. So I got lucky, I guess. And it actually took quite a while to get it out, even from my skin. Like I had marks, black marks on my skin for a few days after this, even after I had showered and scrubbed. It was pretty bad. I looked kind of ridiculous, but luckily this was the end of the day, and I just went home and took a shower. So because of the soot from this train, this is basically what my entire body looked like, including my clothes. So that was kind of fun.
Pretty much. We're going to take one more walk through the flea market, and then we'll get rolling. Thanks, Steve. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, take care. Safe trip.
They've also got a gift shop, which is pretty neat. I did end up buying a pin. And I had a separate video on it, but there's also a flea market here, or a tag sale as they call it. So I do have a video. I call it the CAMA, C-A-M-A flea market. So if you want to watch that, that was also at this Spring Power Up. On the way back to the car, we ran across this cabin. It's called the Noah Blake cabin. It's not an original antique cabin, though. It was built in 1974, and it's based on a book by Eric Sloan called Diary of an Early American Boy, Noah Blake, from 1805. So apparently it's based on the description of the cabin in that book, which I'm not familiar with.
No, it's just somebody's home. Stuff up there on top.
This is like a bunch of stuff tidied up, and they had something hot, and there's no dust list there.
This is like
And then also on the way back to the car, we ran across this. This is the Kent blast furnace, which was built in 1826.
Facing the wrong way, part of it.
And it was used in the iron smelting process, I believe.
You're looking to the outfield.
So we had to take a quick look at that as it was just a few feet from the cars.
Usually we just pee back here.
That's pig iron.
This furnace looks very much like the furnaces they have at the Mine Hill Preserve in Roxbury, Connecticut. I did do a video at the Mine Hill Preserve, which I haven't published yet just because I'm kind of worried it won't get a lot of views. So if any of you want to see a video with more of this type of thing, definitely let me know in the comments.
I guess this was used for eye
They're
opening.
still using it in 1925.
Oh my.
It's the outfit.
Is this a real one, Dad?
Yeah, it was the real deal. They had this whole building built up around it. Yeah.
Look at these big,
You can get a
big
peek in
pieces
around the
of
side
stone.
too. Yeah. You get a peek
Wow.
through over here.
Oh boy.
Oh wow. Yeah, you can see through. Over there, I'm gonna twist it out.
And there you have it. That was the Connecticut Antique Machinery Association's 18th annual Spring Power Up. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and hit that notification bell. I got a lot more videos coming. I've got flea markets, mall videos, store walkthroughs, and who knows what else. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.